I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, May the 16th. We're almost at 15,000 subscribers on YouTube, guys. I like for you to watch it on National Beef Wire, but if you watch this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done it, guys. We're getting up there pretty good. Not as good as Girls Gone Wild or Cute Kittens, but not bad for a guy talking about the cattle market. But Feeder Flash sponsored in part by Bovalus Vision, clostridial vaccines that spur cattle forward and never backward, powered by the proprietary Spur adjuvant that boosts vaccine performance while causing fewer reactions and reducing stress on cattle post-vaccination. Also, each bottle that you buy enters you into a monthly drawing for a custom-made Greeley cowboy hat. For more information, go to powered-by-spur.com. Also, Beaver County Stockyards, Beaver, Oklahoma, got a lighter run here this Tuesday for the regular cattle auction. They got rain around there too. I know it's the Oklahoma Panhandle and it never rains, but they did get some rain there. It's going to curb receipts a little bit hard to get around than usual, but they've got really a stick out deal this Tuesday here today at Beaver County Stockyards. And it is 56 head of fancy first calf heifer pairs, guys. The heifers originally come off that T. Boone Pickens Ranch down by Perryton there, and they are bred Express Ranch powerful bred, guys, high dollar bred. They've got the calves at their side. The calves are all healthy. I was talking to Lane Conkle. He said that those little calves look like bulldogs. He said they are snapping good. Really fancy first calf heifer pairs, guys. If you're interested in bidding on them, you're interested in watching them sell, get on to dvauction.com. We're expecting them to sell around noon, give or take 30 minutes. So from 11:30 to 12:30, we're expecting. If you're interested in bidding on those cattle or heifer pairs, call the sale barn early. Tell them you'd like to be approved, and they'll approve you where you can bid, or call somebody at the sale barn there, and you can watch them online and bid to the man that's at the sale barn there. But also going to have about 35 head of older solid mouth pairs there that might be interesting for some of you guys. Lighter run of calves, only 400 to 450 head of calves, a lot of them unweaned, and about 100 head of them going to be those real pee-wee tiny things pulled off some older cows there, and they'll be weighing from 130 to 180 pounds. They've been having a lot of them because it's been so dry there. Still dry. That the rain that they got was great, but doesn't get them out of the woods. But guys are getting along good with those little pee-wee calves. Hearing a lot of those guys are using Ferapiece on them, calm those little calves down, getting them their shots, and they're taking right off for them. Going to have 6 loads of 800 to 1,000 pound yearling steers, and then a few smaller sorted up deals of grays and yearlings. But check out Beaver County Stockyards at dvauction.com here today on Tuesday. This could change everything. Now, what are you talking about? We're talking about a bumper crop of corn and beans, guys, and they're expecting one. We come out on Friday. USDA come out with their production estimates, and they are estimating all-time record high yields for both corn and beans. It all depends on the weather, of course. If we get timely rains more than anything, that we need one. This rain that we got late last week, over the weekend, and some places up there in the Midwest getting rain already early this week. It saved us, but we need more timely rains to come through, and we could reach this. But USDA estimated corn yields on this year's crop at 181.5 bushels to the acre. That would be an all-time record high, around 5 bushels to the acre more than the most recent record. So, you know, we've got new hybrids, we've got all kinds of technology in farming now. It's a high-tech deal, and we just keep getting more bushels to the acre. I wish there's a way we could make less acres to the cow. But on your beans, they're also estimated an all-time record high yield of 52 bushels to the acre on the average. that would be an all-time record high, but not much more than the 51.9, which was the most recent all-time record. It's not going to be near that good for your hard red winter wheat harvest there, guys. And they're expecting more abandoned fields of hard red winter wheat than we've ever seen, going back all the way to 1917, so well over 100 years. They are expecting to harvest only about 67% of the hard red winter wheat fields out there, and the yields are not going to be great. And you're seeing these Kansas City or hard red winter wheat futures go sky high, like we saw your corn and beans dive on Friday. Now they were back up a little bit on Monday. They thought maybe they overdid it, but your grain markets were down hard on Friday. Your calves or fat cattle that are coming to the market here, we're seeing they're mostly calves now. And you say, well, calves, what do you mean? Well, they're just barely a year old. Most of the cattle that are hitting the show list now, those cattle have been on feed for a long time. They were pushed hard as calves. Never really got to be stockers. They went right off the cow. Some were weaned, some not, right into the feedlot. And those cattle do not grade nearly as well as cattle that are turned out, made into yearlings out there on grass or some kind of forage, and then put on feed, because they're still growing while you're feeding them. They just don't have that age to them. They're not going to grade as well. That's what we're going to see on the show list here going forward. Might be a few more head of them out there, guys, but it's not exactly what the Packers want. They're still going to be aggressive on your best grading cattle. And you know, their harvest has been really light. The whole month of April was really light. Last week was huge. You know, you wonder, what was the light harvest that they had over April? Was that bearish to the cattle market, like most people think? I don't know. I think it was actually bullish, because I think it's put these Packers back on their heels. They're going to be more aggressive. They've got to have numbers. They've turned the chain speeds up. Most of them still not active on a Saturday, but we have heard some majors starting to schedule Saturday kills. They've got to have the product, guys. We've got some early summer holidays coming up, and the grills are going to be going. Let's talk about your board to start the week. June live cattle futures down 7 cents at 164.32. Still nearly a $10 basis there to your 5 area weighted average. About a $6 basis to the most recent market in the Southern Plains, and we know we'll have basis jumpers there, but that basis is getting smaller and smaller all the time, and you guys are losing market position while you're jumping at that basis. Going to look up here one of these days, the basis is going to be gone, and we're going to be $10 back of where we were less than a month ago when we hit the all-time record highs. August live cattle up 30 cents at 162.75. Your back months on live cattle up 50 cents to up 97. Feeder cattle for May up big, up $1.02 at 206.50. That's a big premium to what our index levels are right now. August has fully regained all the losses that they saw whenever we started losing our fat cattle market. Up 207 on Monday, your August feeder cattle closing at 231.05. If you guys don't get you an LRP or hedge somehow, if you've got a lot of yearlings turned out on grass, I'm not going to feel sorry for you if we don't. But I think it could get higher. But my gosh, I would dally up to that 231.05. My goodness, based on an 800-pound steer coming off grass late this summer or early fall. Your back months on feeder cattle up 67 to up $1.87. Corn for July, we lost the May contract on corn. It went off the board at 633.25. Everything else is a big discount to that. July corn up 6.25 cents on Monday, ending regular trading at 592.5. December new crop corn was up 6.25 cents, but last week for the week it was down 26 cents. So come back a little bit on Monday. Up 6.25 cents, but I think it's going to fade back as we go through the week. But ending Monday, regular trading at 5.15 for new crop corn. July beans, May beans went off at 14.35. Your July beans were up 10.75 cents at $14.75. November new crop beans up 7.5 at 12.31 1/4. Your weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle market in your 5-area feeding region saw 68,000 head traded negotiated compared to 71,100 the previous week and 80,200 the same week a year ago. Live sales of steers and heifers ranged from 169 to 178 in the 5-area last week. That was a buck lower. Your weighted average was actually higher because we didn't have near as many sales in the southern plains, and the northern plains is trading at such a premium that it actually gave us a higher weighted average on live steers of 174.13. That was up 20 cents in your 5-area compared to the weighted average in your 5-area a week ago. Dress sales ranged from 268 to 280.50. That was down $7 on the low end and down $3.50 on the top end of that price spread. Your weighted average on dress steers 279.48, down $1.46. So actually, in the northern plains, your late sales of live cattle 176 to 177, basically steady with the previous week. Dress sales 277 to 280, 1 to 2 lower. Southern plains $2 lower last week at 170. Nationwide negotiated sales 81,500 head. About 29% of those were for the 15 to 30 day delivery. Negotiated grid sales last week 43,800. Forward contract has been really light here due to the way that the market is. 12,900 head last week, and formula sales of 259,200 head. Last week's negotiated sales in the 5-area, of course we don't get to see what Colorado does, but Iowa sold 23,300. Good movement for them. The cattle that are really done in Iowa, there's not very many of them. They just keep scraping at them though. Nebraska 26,400. Good movement for them. Kansas 11,900. But Texas negotiated sales only about 6,500, and a big regional stockyard will have that many feeder cattle, and they only sell 6,500 negotiated in all the feedlots in the Texas, eastern New Mexico, western Oklahoma feedlot area there. Box beef cutout values were mixed to start the week, but mostly lower, with choice down 263 at 301.98. Selects up 3 cents at 284.71. Slaughter starting out big, 126,000 estimated harvest on Monday. That's the same as a week ago. Talk about what else is going on. Your night latch group, that's Andy Cunningham there in western Oklahoma, guys. He wants you to hold on to your investment, hence the night latch. But check out gross margin policies. He knows how to work those where you can hedge your cattle and your corn there at the same time. For more information, go to nightlatch.net. Talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DB auction late in the day on Monday set at 202.65, up 69 cents from the end of last week, guys. Had some good sales to start the week out on Monday. With that grain report that come out, these feeder cattle could grab a whole nother gear. And these calves even more now that we've got some forage for them after these recent rains. You know, I've been talking, we've reached all-time record highs in our fat cattle market this spring. We've come off of them hard from basis jumping. But then your yearling feeder cattle selling really well, but not near all-time record highs as of yet. Calves still fairly cheap, and they just keep going up. But if this grain could come off here and get in a $4 range, we are going to shift this thing into overdrive, and they already started doing it here on Monday. In Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City, 4,100 had light rain there, or light run. They had big rains in central Oklahoma over the weekend, curbed their seats hard. Same week a year ago, they had 9,700, but only 4,100 on Monday in Oklahoma City. Market was steady to $2 higher. Joplin Regional Stockyards, they underestimated. They thought they were going to have 5,000. They ended up with 6,000, and then had another 2,000 on their in-house video that they call Primetime Livestock Video. They do that with help from dvauction.com. It comes across very seamless. They sold cattle from all over Kansas down into North Texas on their Primetime Livestock Video through DV Auction there. But the market was really good in Joplin. They had some outside interest come in. Steers are $3 to $6 higher. Heifers are $6 to $10 higher. Had a few 4-weight heifers as much as $15 higher. And you look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central, and I cannot argue with the trend there. I think he did an excellent job calling the trend there. You look at the weighted averages and then the change from a week ago, and I tell you what, it looks like he's right on. You look at your best tested weights there. How about 560 head of 4-weight steer calves? They average 452 with a weighted average price of $256.75. 728 head of 5-weight steers average 558, $243.38 on the average. 473 head of 639 on the average 6-weight steers, and they had a weighted average price of $226.47. Stick out sale on some feeder type steers with 62 head of 838 pound steers bring $206.50, weighing nearly 8.5, guys. How about heifers? 549 head of 4-weight heifers average 446, weighted average price $230.44. 522 head of 5-weight heifers average 544 at $218.16, and 596 head of 6-weight heifers average 646, weighted average price $211.73. How about some stick out sales, individual quotes from all around? How about Headwaters Livestock in Three Forks, Montana? Sells 58 steer calves that weigh 532, bring $2.70 a pound. How about Tina Livestock up there in northwest Missouri? They sell 86 head of the Hunt Farms steers from Bramer, Missouri. They were not Bramer cattle, but they come from Bramer, Missouri. Those 86 steers weighed 593 and bring $261. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, your Mackerson, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Aberdeen Livestock Sales in Aberdeen, South Dakota. 76 steers weighed 637, bring $2.70 a pound. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.